Sharpening the axe personally begins with acquiring and increasing the confidence and the character traits that are necessary for the season you're in and the result you want to get. Hard work doesn't always work. Hard work doesn't always work. Hard work only works if you're working hard at the right thing. He suggests in Ecclesiastes 10:10 that increasing our effort isn't always the answer. He suggests improving our ability is. So instead of swinging harder, sharpen more. Instead of swinging harder, sharpen more. And this is what we want to help you do these next 2 days. Want to help you sharpen the axe more. And in this opening session, I want to encourage you to do it in 3 areas. I'm not going to rush through, but I'm going to move swiftly through number 1 because number 2 that might be the whole hour I got with you. So here's number 1, sharpen the axe personally. Sharpen the axe personally. I want you to see, I literally want you to reframe this, and I want you to see working on me is working on my program. You have to see it that way. Working on me is working on my program. Some of you are in seasons of starting. Others of you are in seasons of scaling. Whether you're starting or scaling, you have to start with you.
What up? Real quick, give me a second. Question for you. Do you want more peace? Do you want to be more productive? Do you want more purpose in your life? Do you want to be more profitable? If so, I can help you. I've got a mentoring and coaching group called Daniels Den. I want you to go to danielsden.com, find out more. I'll see you in the den.
So working on me is working on my program. So sharpening the axe personally begins with acquiring and increasing the confidence and the character traits that are necessary for the season you're in and the result you want to get. And I want to start a little bit with confidence. I taught this last week in the challenge. Confidence is contextual, and confidence is seasonal. So there are going to be times where it needs to be cultivated and recultivated, especially if something hasn't gone well. Did y'all hear what I just said? Okay, so here it is now. Sometimes confidence has to be cultivated, other times it has to be recultivated, especially when something hasn't gone well or if you had a series of false starts. Because confidence can be shaken to the degree that I'm not only questioning my programs, I can start questioning me. I can start losing confidence in my ability to actually start. Does that make sense? It's one thing to believe it can be done. It's another thing to believe I can do it, even if I've had a season where I haven't. Even if I had a season where I've made commitments to myself and promises to myself, and I've had a series of false starts, I've got to recultivate the confidence that sometimes those false starts, listen to me, aren't necessarily false starts, but sometimes those false starts are phases that you actually had to go through to not only cultivate the confidence, but phases you need to go through to feel the frustration you need to feel, because everybody's fueled by something different. And some of us are more fueled by frustration. And so if you're feeling that, I'm glad. Did you hear what I just said? Yeah, if you're feeling a little bit of frustration, I'm glad. If you're feeling a little bit of agitation with you, I'm glad. If you're feeling a little bit, not despair, but a little bit of disappointment in you, I'm glad. Because that means you have a revelation and a recognition of your own potential and capability. And the disappointment that is present is an indication that a willingness to settle is not. If you were willing to settle, you wouldn't be as disappointed and frustrated. And so this frustration is sending a sign to you that you never gonna be okay. Emotionally, you're never gonna be okay and at ease without doing your best work and being your best self. It's not gonna go away. And I'm glad. Am I making sense here? So there are times where we're going to have to recultivate confidence. That's why rooms like this are important. That's why environments like this are important. They reignite. They re-inspire. They remind us of what we're capable of doing and what we're supposed to be doing. They reconnect us to the mandate that some of you felt when you said yes to this. It started like a mandate, but now life has you treating it like an option. You're in a program like this because for you, making not just a dollar, but making a difference matters. That matters to you. If not, you would have been in another program. But you're in this program because there is some sense of responsibility or call or burden that you feel to steward your insights and your experiences in a way that can actually add value to other people. And many of us are in a Gideon-like season where God's trying to talk you into your capability. Not only could Gideon do the job, Lance, he only did it with 300 people. Like he was that capable. But he was unaware of his capability. So God literally has to cultivate confidence in him. Now, here's what's interesting about Gideon's story. We know what took his confidence. My question to you, respectfully, is do you know where you left yours? Because if you're going to have to, I'm going to need you to go back and find it before these 2 days. And I need to know where you lost it. And I need you to know what happened. What happened? Did a partnership go bad? Did a product launch go bad? Did life happen in such a way that it just took margin away from you? What happened? And I'm not saying, watch this now, remember when we're talking about a deficit of confidence, I'm not saying you don't have any confidence. That's not what we're talking about here, right? Confidence is contextual. Is do I have the confidence I need to get the result I want? So when I say what took it, I'm not saying anybody has low self-esteem. I'm saying the measure of confidence that's needed to get the results that you want. What took that? Does that make sense? So I think cultivating this and recultivating this is really going to require, guys, us doing some distinguishing. This is going to be really important. This is an important reframe. Doing some distinguishing between limits and lanes. I want you to think lanes, not limits. Everybody say no limits. No limits. just lanes. This is important because every program won't work. Things won't always go the way we anticipate. However, the truth of the matter is many people interpret those experiences as limits. And they interpret it as failure, and that failure begins to tell you a story. When you've got to shift from that mindset and say, I'm not limited, that way or the approach wasn't the right lane in this season. Some lanes have lifespans too. Just because they have always worked doesn't mean they'll always work. Sometimes the brook dries up. And I'm not saying switch the car. I'm saying switch lanes. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's not always about switching cars, it's about switching lanes. So you've got to do the mindset work regularly with your eye gate, with your ear gate, with your mouth gate to cultivate the confidence you need for the season that you're in. Some of you are starting, some of you are scaling. But no matter what season you're in, you've got to do the work regularly with the eye gate, ear gate, and mouth gate. Now, in order to do this, guys, this is something, I got this revelation. And I started to just do this session exclusively on this. Because this is a step that most people skip over. They want to sharpen the axe. So in this space, we're talking about cultivating confidence. They want to sharpen the axe, David, without creating the space. Some of us know we need to sharpen the axe. The challenge is, how do I create the space in my life to actually do that? Does this make sense, everybody? Yeah, it's like how do I actually create the space? Because I've got life and I've got responsibilities and I've got things that I can't stop doing right now. I've got children. That whatever season of life you're in, it's important. Now, I want you to catch this. When God created the world, he used nothing. And sometimes we aren't able to create because you don't have enough nothing.